Al Horford's future remains a mystery. The veteran big man is still available as an unrestricted free agent. The 2024 Boston Celtics champion is taking his time before making a decision on what comes next in his career. Horford has 3 options available to him. He can re-sign with Boston, retire, or move elsewhere to continue hunting for another championship. According to a July 6 report from Mark Stein, Horford is widely expected to land with the Golden State Warriors. While having the full non-taxpayer mid-level would theoretically provide the Nuggets with the financial flexibility to offer a richer year-one salary to Boston Celtics free agent Al Horford that Golden State can pitch, I continue to hear that Horford is destined to land in the Bay Area, Stein reported. That's despite the fact that the Warriors currently have only the $5.7 million taxpayer mid-level to offer him. Horford has been linked with multiple contending-level teams since the offseason began. It's also looking increasingly unlikely he returns to the Celtics for another season. Brad Stevens has overseen a significant talent drain in recent weeks, resulting in Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Luke Kornet all heading elsewhere. Celtics urged to target Damian Lillard. Losing Horford feels like a foregone conclusion for the Celtics. However, Stevens and the front office must still find ways to improve the current roster. In a recent edition of NBC Sports Boston's Early Edition, Celtics insider Gary Washburn urged the franchise to target Damian Lillard. The 9-time All-Star was recently waived and stretched by the Milwaukee Bucks. "It's cheap," Washburn said. $5.6 million mid-level, 2 years, because he's already getting paid by the Bucks. So money is not an issue. You sit him for this year. You have 2 All-NBA players coming back along with Jaylen Brown and Derek White, and then whoever's center. 2 All-NBA players, 3 All-Stars, and a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in your starting 5, and you come back to try to win another title in 26 to 27. Lillard is expected to miss the 2025-26 season due to an Achilles tendon injury. Therefore, Boston would be committing 2 roster spots to All-Star talents who won't play next season. Due to Lillard's injury, age, and potentially questionable fit next to Tatum and Jaylen Brown, there's no guarantee Boston makes a run at him in free agency. Celtics have a busy summer ahead. Despite a flurry of moves when the offseason began, the Celtics likely have some moves up their sleeves. They recently signed Josh Minott to a 2-year contract, putting the franchise marginally above the second luxury tax apron. Stevens will likely want to duck the second apron before the season begins. Furthermore, the current roster looks disjointed. There's limited depth in the front court, and Anthony Simons doesn't project to be the two-way talent Joe Mazzulla covets. Therefore, it's likely Stevens has 1 or 2 more moves to make before the end of the summer. Not only will he want to get the Celtics under the second apron, he may want to add some more balance to the current roster. After all, the upcoming season may be a reset year, but the Celtics still need tradable pieces to bounce back when Tatum returns in 26 to 27. The Golden State Warriors are one of several teams linked to former Milwaukee Bucks and Portland Trail Blazers point guard Damian Lillard, but current Phoenix Suns star Bradley Beal looms large as a more appealing option. Beal, who is entering year 4 of a 5-year, $251 million contract, is expected to hit unrestricted free agency in the next couple of days. The Warriors would be able to take the same plan of action they had for Lillard, but with Beal. With a Bradley Beal buyout being imminent, per a source, I'm anticipating he gives up $13.9 million of his remaining $110.8 million, which would then clear the way for the Suns to waive and stretch the resulting $96.9 million over 5 years and duck both tax aprons, PHNX Suns' Gerald Burgett reported on X on July 6. Beal averaged 17.0 points, 3.7 assists, and 3.3 rebounds during the 2024-25 regular season. He had a 57.1% effective field goal mark and also connected on 38.6% of his looks from beyond the arc. Beal also projects as a better fit on a team with multiple ball handlers, like the Warriors, than Lillard, who's a point guard by trade. Brad Beal a better fit for Warriors than Damian Lillard. The Athletic's Eric Nehm, Sam Amick, and Joe Vardon reported on the Warriors' interest in Lillard. He is expected to miss much, if not all, of the 2025-26 season rehabbing from a torn Achilles. Not surprisingly, League sources say Lillard received calls from several contending teams quickly after the news of his Bucks ending broke, the trio wrote on July 2nd. League sources say the Golden State Warriors, Boston Celtics, and Los Angeles Lakers are known to be among the many teams that would have interest in doing a deal sooner rather than later. The question is whether he wants to sign with a team now and rehabilitate while under their care, or wait until next summer to reassess the situation. Beal is nearly 3 years younger than Lillard and has also been linked to the Warriors, including via 98.7 FM's John Gambadoro on July 3rd. However, Lillard has the edge in appearances over Beal since the start of 2020-21. Beal has been the more efficient scorer. He also has a lower usage rate than Lillard. Both players would require the ball in their hands quite often. Still, Beal has played with at least as many ball-dominant options. The list includes John Wall to Devin Booker and even Kevin Durant. Warriors could face tricky cap gymnastics. The Warriors' chances of landing Beal remain unclear. They could very well depend on how far they are willing to go to bring him in. They are already expected to bring in former Celtics star Al Horford. I continue to hear that Horford is destined to land in the Bay Area, the Stein Line's Mark Stein wrote on July 6th. That's despite the fact that the Warriors currently have only the $5.7 million taxpayer mid-level to offer him. The Warriors have been relatively quiet in free agency. That is, outside of taking part in a historic 7-team trade that tied in multiple previously agreed-upon deals. They still have the $14.1 million non-taxpayers mid-level exception per Spotrac. Using both would hard cap the Warriors at the first tax apron. However, they could, in theory, come away with Beal and Horford and remain below the actual threshold. They are currently more than $25 million below the apron, with Jonathan Kuminga's future looming large. In an offseason that's been quiet so far, there's been one common thread in Golden State Warriors targets: players who were all-stars a few years ago who got dumped by their old teams for financial reasons. The newest addition to this group is Phoenix Suns guard Bradley Beal. The Suns are reportedly planning to buy out the final 2 seasons of Beal's contract in order to waive and stretch his contract. That move would put nearly $20 million of dead money on their salary cap for each of the next 5 seasons, but it would get Phoenix below the luxury tax line and potentially save them over $200 million in salary and tax payments. Beal was a disappointment in Phoenix after the Suns traded Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and a whole lot of pick swaps and second-rounders to create a big three of Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. But the trio had a lot of injuries and played very little defense as the super team failed to win a playoff game in 2024 and missed the postseason entirely last season. Now Durant is a member of the Houston Rockets. Booker is about to sign a massive $150 million extension to keep him in Phoenix through 2030, and Beal can become a free agent. Let's state right away that the Warriors are not the favorites to sign Beal. That would be the Los Angeles Clippers, who traded Norman Powell to the Miami Heat in a 3-team deal that sent John Collins to the Clips and Kevin Love and forever Warriors Kyle "Slow Mo" Anderson to the Utah Jazz. Not only did the Clippers open up a great deal of playing time for Beal by sending Powell away, their remaining guards are James Harden, Chris Dunn, and Bogdan Bogdanović. They made it much less likely that the Miami Heat would pursue Beal after adding Powell. Plus, the Clippers still have $5.3 million left of their non-taxpayer mid-level exception to offer Beal, who will have to give up around $19 million in order for Phoenix to use the waive and stretch provision. Teams can only spend 15% of the salary cap on stretch deals, and the Suns have done that with Nasir Little and the immortal E.J. Liddell's contracts already. While Beal isn't a perfect fit for the Warriors, he has reportedly thought about joining them, which by summer 2025 standards is a ringing endorsement. Beal just turned 32 years old, so he's a spring chicken compared to Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. He averaged 17 points last season and shot 38.3% on three-pointers and nearly 50% overall. Beal moved to a bench role near the end of the season, and after some initial reluctance, he thrived in his sixth-man role. Golden State seems to be reserving its own $5.70 taxpayer mid-level exception for Al Horford, who is destined to land in the Bay Area, according to Mark Stein. Horford is available thanks to the Boston Celtics shedding payroll after Jason Tatum's Achilles injury, trading Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis for big tax savings. While Beal would be walking away from Phoenix with $97 million, he might want to get more than a veteran's minimum with his new team. Maybe he and Big Al would split the $5.7 million? Damian Lillard, who was waived and stretched for even more money by the Milwaukee Bucks, $113 million, is another former All-Star that the Warriors are interested in adding, though he seems unlikely to play in 2025-26 after tearing his Achilles in the playoffs. Still, he's from Oakland and even wears number 0 as a tribute to the city. Maybe that's why their current number 0, Gary Payton II, is doubtful to return. Finally, the Warriors could add another likely buyout candidate who fits their criteria. Future Hall of Famer. Ditched for financial reasons.
Old.
That's Kevin Love, who is extremely likely to get a buyout from the Jazz. He'd fit the team's desire for a floor-stretching big man, seemed to get along swimmingly with Butler in Miami, and can talk to Curry and Horford about being the son of an NBA player and being born while Ronald Reagan was the president. Honestly, they should try to sign all 4 players and watch the endorsements roll in. Life insurance, catheters, life alert systems, the Matlock reboot starring Kathy Bates, touch-tone phones with oversized buttons, Depends undergarments. The possibilities are endless. Sure, it's unlikely the Warriors add any of these players besides Horford. But if they do pull it off, remember this article when the team unveils their new Werther's Originals jersey patch.